I mean, this Sony involvement, or the Sony emails involvement with, let me say that one more time, this Sony direct involvement with U.S. Congress and Senate and the members thereof, and of course the White House, is beyond treasonous and sickening, of course, in our opinion here. I want to bring this to your attention as well. Here we again have a email from Sony. It shows that they are in support of the Democrats. Jewish LA. Once again, soliciting money from those who have access to the American taxpayer dollars to help them with the poor Israelis. This is during the time when everybody's bombing the shit out of Syria. I mean, people have absolutely no shame. No shame whatsoever. It is money, money, give us money all the time. It's like, excuse me, you can reflect back on what Netanyahu said before he even became prime minister. His goal was to suck America dry. Then, once it's sucked dry, you'll just blow on it and it'll crumble and go away. That's how ruthless Israelis are. And if you ever bother to read the Talmud, it tells you exactly why. Goy, Goyim, Gentiles, most racist terms on earth, refer to all non-Jews being non-human beasts to use like cattle. Figure that one out. Enslaved or killed. In any event, the Jewish Foundation of Greater Los Angeles. These people, like I said, had no shame. As we brought to you on our previous channel, Israeli military plans to take over the entire Middle East. If it takes the death of every American for the Greater Israel Project, your treacherous and traitor scumbag leaders, including Trump, have agreed to that. Pence should have been arrested by the military when he said Americans are ready to die for Israel. Well, no. Absolutely not. I will not die for demons. And Pence had no business offering up all the American lives in public. And see, there was a time when the U.S. military actually cared about America and Americans. And that changed after World War II. The U.S. military belongs to Israel. And the American people have stood by and allowed them to confiscate guns. With all the big talk and everything from militias and gun owners and everything. And we saw what happened in Katrina, then Harvey. And every natural man-made disaster that is created by HARP, they send the military out. But what you probably don't know is the small ghost towns that started popping up, what was it, 2010, 2011? You know, the small towns on the outskirts of everything. They're not exactly farming, and they only have maybe 1,000 people or less. During Obama's 8-year reign, almost every last one of them are gone. The people were killed, and the property transferred to the government. And the government lie is that they purchased the land for government projects. And, of course, the U.S. government, USjew Inc., is not allowed to purchase land only 10 miles outside of Washington. And we have allowed them to continue to do that. And YouTubers were going out making very good, incredible investigations about what happened to the people, because the ghost towns were overrun by vegetation and the buildings are collapsing. Nobody did anything. There was no project. And of course they had to come in with conspiracy theory, propaganda. And then they hired their own investigative journalists to lie to the people. And the YouTubers became popular, and then people laughed it up again. But the biggest reason why Congress, Senate, Trump, they don't step in on what's happening with these tech companies and their censorship is because they're driving it. Trump might pretend, oh, everybody's against me and blah, blah, blah. And it gets people on his side because it's a human natural reaction with some people. Unfortunately, with the majority of people. And they're all on the same team. Slicing away at rights. I mean, it's just makes me feel so, to know what it's like to be an animal, a wild animal in a cage, because there are so few Americans willing to stand up and do anything. It's not even like you have to stand up and go outside and do anything, for God's sakes, these days. But the American togetherness, there isn't any. There's no American togetherness. Your neighbor could starve to death and you never know. A stray dog or someone else's dog or cat may wander around your house and beg for food, and you slam the door in its face. Yeah, that's humanity for you. I got off subject, but my point is, here is Sony again with the direct contact to our the pocketbook of the USA. And these are constant emails asking for money to help out the Jewish people. So, I mean, they have no shame. Harvard did a study back in, I think it was 2012 or 13. Gideon has a copy. I did a video on it on our last channel. That it was actually $108 billion in various funds that USjew Inc. gives Israel. And it had to be increased by now. I mean, Trump even increased it. Obama increased it by about $30 billion, and then Trump increased it more, and then he told Europe they all have to put money in and give it to the lazy Israelis that sit around and do nothing. I mean, they're like kept bitches, is what they are.